And this is the GoTeez sports page. Indiana and Miami are set to battle for college football's top prize, and we're going to the whistle blows. And now let's set today's lineup card. Donnie Moore will report on the latest high school basketball scores involving Blount County high school teams, and we'll follow up with some national sports stories. I'll talk some UT basketball and throw in some sports shorts. Our panel will voice their views on the college football championship game. The letter rip segment is set to go, so let's break the huddle and dive right in. And Donnie Moore, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
Yeah, well,
it's a cool morning, but not as cold as yesterday.
Yeah, at least it's not snowing or raining, but
exactly.
We've got we're here at the Bluetick Tavern. We've had some problems with the radio this morning, right?
Yeah, trying to
get that worked out, but we are on the internet,
right?
So we're a little short-handed this morning. Tony Iruli is out recruiting. Caleb's over at UT, and Marcus has had an emergency, and he's down in Nashville.
He's in Nashville, so
it's
thanks to Zach and Jenna for being here to help us pick up pieces.
Help us get going. So anyway, I've got a little letter rip, so let's go into it.
All right, let's do it.
I got a little UT basketball in here this morning. I've been following the Tennessee basketball team the last couple of weeks as they have entered SEC play, and I've got to confess their style of play has left me completely dumbfounded. For example, I can't tell if they are an outside team or an inside team, or if they're an inside-outside team or an outside team-inside team. And if that is not confusing enough, is that Rick Barnes coaching this squad?
No kidding.
Or an AI clone roaming the sideline, because what's on the court certainly does not look like the real Rick Barnes team I'm used to looking at. Turnovers all over the place, defensive breakdown, can't throw a free throw in the bucket to save their soul, lack of consistency everywhere. Where's the floor leadership? Where's the Kai Ziegler? A lot of size inside, but seldom an offensive threat, not as much discipline on the offensive end. Please tell me the real Rick Barnes teams will be back soon so I can get off the medication this outfit has put me on. Donnie Moore, they've been cardiac kids.
Oh, man, they sure have.
I don't know. I don't know.
And like you said, this has been totally unlike a Rick Barnes coached basketball team. They're very young, and I guess we can place the issue there. But goodness gracious, this doesn't look like a typical Tennessee team.
Yeah, from one game to the next, you just kind of really don't know what you're going to get. And from Rick Barnes' standpoint, he's got to be just frustrated out of his mind. Now, I know that you've got a lot of transfer portal guys there, and some of those guys have played at 3 different schools.
That's true.
So they're probably wondering what offense and what defense they're supposed to be playing. But putting all that aside, the good thing is it is a young part of the season. We're only into this 4 games, so there's a lot of basketball still to play. And I realize when you bring in transfer portal guys, it's like an all-star team. You got to get them. You got to get them to all mesh.
That's right.
And
got to work within the system.
That's part of the difficulty. But they went down to Florida last Saturday, and boy, they were just. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a Rick Barnes basketball team, at least while he's been here at Tennessee, taken to the woodshed like they were taken at Florida last week.
Wow.
91-67, and outside the first 10 minutes of that game, they were really never in it.
Oh yeah, no, they weren't. You're right. Just didn't happen.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, there, you're looking at all the other SEC teams. A lot of them aren't having a lot of success on the road either. I mean, Arkansas went down to Auburn, I think, the other night, and they just got absolutely hammered.
They sure did.
Down there by an Auburn team that I think Auburn's 1-3, and I think that's the only win Auburn's got. I think they're 1-3 in the league right now.
I think you're right.
So, but turnovers, Rick Barnes' teams in the past, you're used to 10, 12 turnovers, and down at Florida they turned it over 18 times, and Florida got 30 points off those turnovers. And, I think the same rule applies now that it applied a long time ago. If you're going to compete in the SEC for a championship, you got to win half the games on the road and all your home games pretty much, Donnie.
Exactly, and that's what's expected of you. You do have to win those home games and take a few away on the road.
Yeah. Another another deal I've noticed is on their offensive end, they've been real good in the past of making defensive teams work. They take the entire shot clock before they take a shot.
Yeah.
And now, they're a little bit more undisciplined in their half-court game.
Yeah, I agree.
It kind of, if I'm feeling it, I'm putting it up. So, that's a little getting used to, I guess, also from what we've seen in the past. But
sure.
How do you turn it around on the road? How do you get back?
Oh boy, I think, and I saw evidence of this on the road, especially against Florida, that they just weren't the typical defensive-minded team that Rick Barnes has had in the past. They never did flip a switch and turn up the defense.
Yeah.
And that'll get you back in the game. If you're a lot of times if you get a turnover or two, get a stop and make a bucket at the end, and they don't shoot consistently either. So
I think one of the things they've lacked too is a team leader, a take charge guy.
I agree. Yeah.
You got Gillespie out there, and he's a scorer. I mean, he handles the ball and sets things up. But
yeah.
I don't see that Zakai Ziegler leadership type. Hey, let's when things start to go bad, let's get everybody together and get a good shot here and
they're missing
get things
that.
rolling the other direction. I think they're needing that right now.
I think you're exactly right.
Rick Barnes' team, 90 weeks straight in the top 25.
Wow.
And they're just hanging in there at 24.
Yeah, they are.
I think it's 24 right now.
Almost out of the top 25.
Yeah, they're kind of hanging in there going into this week. But 90 weeks in the top 25 and no Final Four while he's been here at Tennessee and no national championship.
Right.
I find that really, really unbelievable.
Yeah, it's hard to.
This team at this
grasp.
point, I think the last. I looked last on bracketology. Of course, it's really early. 6 seed. They got him as a 6 seed right now, heading out west. I don't know. This team right now. I mean, they can really turn it around. But if they don't pick it up on the road, they may have trouble winning 20.
Yeah,
this
you're right.
year.
You're exactly
and
right.
you're playing 30-some games, 20 used to be a marker back when you played 25 or 26 games. That used to be if you won 20 games, you had yourself a real year.
You were in high
but
cotton,
now 20 years is sort of that cutoff point if you're looking to get into the, the basketball tournament at the end of the year.
That's
true.
But
I don't know. Tennessee last weekend, 21 of 49 from the field goals, 42.86 at Florida, and 6 of 15 from threes at 40%. Free throws, 19 for 29. They're still having trouble at the free throw line.
They are.
But Florida got 30 points off of Tennessee turnovers, and they got 38 points in the paint. Second chance points, 14, and Florida only turned the ball over 10 times. So. That's really the basketball game, I think, right there.
The numbers don't lie, do they?
Turnovers and the free throw line. Then Texas A&M came in this week, and I will say this about the Texas A&M game and the Kentucky game. And Kentucky's coming in here today, and we're going to talk about Tennessee playing Kentucky today. But both of Kentucky and Tennessee, they got after Christmas gifts this week. I'm telling you right now. I mean, Texas A&M came right in here this week and pretty much led the entire basketball game up until the last 4 or 5 minutes, and Tennessee decided they want to play, and Texas A&M just decided they didn't want the game, I guess. Went into 2 overtimes. And that was pretty much it. And then down at LSU had Kentucky down 18 points at the half and led them the whole game, and then Kentucky threw the ball down at the other end of the court with about 1 point some seconds or less than that maybe, and the guy turns around from the top of the key and beats him. So down there,
throws it up.
It'd be interesting today. You got 2 teams with gifts this week coming. That's going to play each other.
Really?
Play the other today. But Texas A&M came in to Tennessee, I think, this past Tuesday night, 3-0 with an SEC mark and 13-3 overall. Not a very big Texas A&M team, Donnie, but pressed all over the court.
They did. I mean,
they just worked you all over the court.
Yep. defensively focused
Yeah.
team.
And where they got hurt more than anything else was on free throws, boxing out on free throws right there at the end of the game where Tennessee had second chance shots on missed free throws.
Right.
But Tennessee had a lot of trouble adjusting to that full court pressure by Texas A&M, especially when there was a make.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
It's just when you can't get adjusted and get your routine going in a basketball game, get the flow going your way, then you're in trouble from the start.
Yeah. Tennessee, 18 turnovers.
Good gracious.
18 turnovers in that basketball game and got away with it. 25 for 67 from the field at 37.31%. And three-point shot, 6 for 24 at 25%. And 31 out of 42. If you go to the free throw line 42 times, it seems like you got a lot of practice. You ought to be able to hit some free throws if you go there 42 times. But they hit 31 of them, and Texas A&M got 20 points off of turnovers, and they were bound and determined to come in here and shoot the three-point shot. Texas A&M just lives and dies by the three. They shot 43 three-point shots. Can you imagine that?
That's putting it up
and their coach said, hey, if we hit 15, we got a chance to win the game. Well, he was too short. If he'd have got those two, he'd have probably won the game.
Could have.
But they were 13 for 43, and they were 21 for 32 at the free throw line. And, boy, they missed some key foul shots.
They really did.
Right there at the end of the ball game. They could have I know that one, they missed the front end of a 1-on-1 and could have put them up 4 points right there at 3 or 4 points right there in regulation. They didn't get it. But this game was pretty much decided, I think, because of Tennessee's size in two categories. Number one was the rebounds. Tennessee 60 boards. 60 boards.
That's a lot of rebounds.
60 boards to Texas A&M's 35.
35.
Yeah, that's a big difference in the game. And then you had a Mint who had a big night, 20 plus points for him, and he was the guy guarding him was giving up about 4 inches. So he was able to have a big night.
That's true.
But talking about the inside players, I mean, you got a player in there who's at Carey that's what 6'7" or 6'8", weighs
maybe
267 pounds.
Big,
I mean, he's a
big kid.
He's a lot to handle in there. And Okpara and Estrella.
Yeah.
Okpara got 3 shots in this game. Carey got 6 shots, and Estrella got 5 shots. And you got a tremendous height advantage over Texas A&M in the inside. And I think Dwayne Brown got 3 shots. You're talking about 17 shots inside the paint with all that size in there.
With all those bigs.
I don't understand it. Explain it.
I don't either. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Rick can either.
Yeah. I don't know. They're not utilizing them like they need to be utilizing. Not utilize them like they need to be utilizing. Well, Tennessee and Kentucky today at 12 o'clock on ESPN. I don't know if I was playing whether I'd like those 12 o'clock games, Donnie.
I mean, it's there's not a lot of time to get ready for them.
When do they eat? When do they eat? Brunch or?
I don't know. Good question.
8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I don't know.
6 o'clock breakfast.
I remember we played some early afternoon games back in the day when I played. It was 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
We never played a 12. I mean a 12 noon start. I don't know.
Well, that's all right with
like
you.
A new one. But anyway, one of the great basketball rivalries in the South is always Kentucky and Tennessee. And what makes this series so special? You've been around down here longer than I have, but it's always been a big game.
It has, yeah. And there's a little bit of extra on the line this year because Kentucky was the last team to put us into Tennessee's winning streak at home.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Zach Grandel, a lot of ghosts will be floating around that arena over there today. The Adolph Rupp and Joe B. Hall and Kevin Greavy and a lot of players that's come in here. I noticed last week up in Kentucky they honored Rupp's runts You know, that
Did
went
they?
1966,
Nice,
went to
yeah,
the
I
final game
remember.
against Texas Western.
Texas Western.
Everybody thought they had another national championship, and Texas Western beat them. And they only, up until that game, the Rupp's Runts had only lost one game. Zach, you know what game that was?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. That's why I'm asking.
I'm
you.
only 75 years old, man. I don't know.
That's why I'm asking you. They came to Tennessee the last game of the season undefeated in 1966, and Tennessee beat them. The last game of the year, that's the only loss that Rupp's Runts had in that season before the final game of the 66 championship.
No wonder they don't like Tennessee so,
Yeah, but
so deeply.
as a player and having played over there, the atmosphere for the Kentucky game, and it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. From a playing standpoint, it's entirely different than playing another game. The whole arena seemed, the atmosphere, the air in there, it's electric. It's just, it's hard to put a finger on it and explain it. It's just not another game.
Right.
Because a lot of people down here, and even in Indiana, used to judge on how Indiana played against Kentucky, and
Sure.
down here it's how Tennessee played Kentucky.
Yeah, sure.
And so here we are again. Zach, with Kentucky coming in here today, they've been struggling in the early part of the season this year. Tennessee's been struggling a little bit in SEC play.
Yep.
What do you think's the big storyline coming into the game today?
Well, Tennessee's favored by 70% on the line. I would say that the biggest thing Tennessee needs to do is shooting, like shooting percentage. 3 points the last game. What was it? Texas? Who they played last game?
They played Texas A&M.
Texas
last
A&M.
week.
Yeah. Shooting percentage, like inside the line, okay. Outside the line, what was their 3-point percentages? Did they even shoot 3 points?
Yeah, against Texas A&M the other night, Tennessee was 6 for 24, 25%. So
shooting percentage, get the shooting percentage up. Everything else looks good. I mean, they look good against A&M, but I don't know.
They look
I haven't seen
from
any.
about 5 minutes on in regulation and overtime. They look pretty. The rest of the night they kind of struggled, and A&M had the upper hand. But I think that as it goes, Donnie, I don't think this is as good a Kentucky team as come in here in the past.
It's not.
I agree with you 100%. I don't think it is either. They don't have the collection of, shall we say, superstars as they've had in the past, even if they are one and done.
Yeah. Kentucky, and what they need to do. Well, first of all, in my opinion, they've got to keep Tennessee off the boards.
Yes.
I mean, Tennessee 60 rebounds in the last basketball game. I mean, they're pulling down.
That's incredible.
Rebound after rebound. You get second half,
you get second
chances,
chance points.
second chance points. You got to stop that. And Kentucky's going to have to come in here and play. And one of the things that Kentucky's not done a good job is they've gotten behind. I mean, even at home, they've played come from behind basketball.
It's hard
pretty much
to do,
ever
too.
since the SEC schedule has started this year, and you can't come in here and spot Tennessee a bunch of points. And Tennessee is really tough at home. Donnie, they've played really well pretty much at home.
Yeah.
And that the other night, Texas A&M letting that game get away. You talking about a huge win for Texas A&M coming in here and winning? That would have been huge because. A lot of teams don't come in here and play very well, but Kentucky's coming in. Tennessee needs to win this one. They're 2-2, and Kentucky's 2-2. So you got Zach. You got both of them 2-2. So one of them's going to go up and to 3-2. And Donnie, who you think needs the game most, Tennessee or Kentucky?
Well, I think because of the streak that Tennessee has of winning at home. Tennessee doesn't like to lose at home. And, I saw that interview with J.P. Estrella the other day, and he was talking about how they wanted to win for the fans because they wanted to keep their Tennessee base intact. So I think Tennessee's going to win today. Yeah.
We went up to Kentucky in 1972, and they got off to a 1-4 start, 1-3 start. They were 1-3, And nobody up until that time had ever really won the conference outright with 4 losses, 5 losses.
Oh no,
That's tight.
And we went up there, and I think we were unbeaten. I don't think we had lost a conference game. Went up there early, and the game was nick and tough all the way. And we felt like if we won that game, we would have put them at 1. I think a 1-4. They'd had a 1-4 start at that time. Boy, they and with as many games that was left, you'd have to think that they're going to lose another one or two along the way. We really felt like we could put them out of the league up there. Had them on the ropes all the way down to the last, and they hit a last-second shot and beat us 72-70, and never lost another game the rest of the year. Never lost another conference game the rest of the year, and we tied with them at 14. I think 14-4. I think they were 1-4 when we came in to play them, and they never lost another conference game. And both of us finished 14-4. And tied for the Southeastern Conference Championship. They beat us by 2 in Lexington and 1 in Knoxville, and got to go to the NCAA tournament. 3 points.
That's
How about
tough.
that deal?
That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a heartbreaking deal. But these games, these Kentucky-Tennessee games, they mean so much. But that was the year after they had let Adolph Rupp go. Adolph Rupp, they had a mandatory retirement age in Kentucky of 70-some.
right.
And they told him that because of the mandatory retirement age in Kentucky, he couldn't coach basketball in Kentucky.
Really?
So he came to our our practice station on that Friday night, and came into the arena, and he wanted Coach Mears to come out to his house, and they talked, I guess. And Mears came in the next morning before the game for a meeting, and said, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Adolph wants us to win. he says, I don't know how many drinks Adolph had before he made that comment the night before, but he was pretty upset about not being able to coach anymore and how they did.
I don't blame him. I mean, he still had plenty left in the tank at that point.
Yeah, and that was also I think that was the second year that they threw oranges at us on the court when we warmed up. The students would throw oranges out on the court and hit us. And he was ruthless back in those days. It's too soft now. It's just too soft.
Yeah.
They take care of everybody. But,
They sure do.
Well, we'd go to these places and they'd throw oranges. And Kentucky was one of those places, and it was a bad deal. But great games. Enjoyed playing in all of them, and I look for another great game today. It'll be a full house over there, and a lot of times, I know this, your seasons are judged by how you did against Kentucky. It's
That's
always,
true.
we did really good, but, gosh, we didn't get Kentucky.
Yeah.
And it's that way both ways,
Yeah,
Well,
it
we didn't
sure
have a
is.
real good year, but, man, we beat Kentucky twice.
And a loss puts them outside of the 25.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It does.
That's a big game.
Yeah.
I hope nobody sells their tickets to a Kentucky fan today, because
No.
they have a tendency to take over an arena.
I always like Kentucky to get beat because, boy, it hurts them. If you can look up there and look at a Kentucky face, and if you beat them, and it just makes you feel so well, because it just eats them alive.
It's like a rain cloud up there. Isn't it?
Yeah.
To get beat. Yeah. Top 5 in the SEC. Zach, Vanderbilt 3-1 and 16-1 overall. Arkansas's 3-1 and 13-4. Missouri's 3-1 and 13-4. Texas A&M is 3-1 and 13-4, and Florida's 3-1 and 12-5. And all those teams are having a pretty good year. Florida with 5 losses, a little deceiving, because they played a really hard preseason schedule, and a lot of people think Florida's the best team in the league. But
They played well against us, that's for sure.
How do you see it, Zach?
Let's see.
You see that changing, or you see it pretty much holding the same as the season goes on? Or?
It's going to be a good game today. Vanderbilt, what's their record? 16-1, and Florida is 12-5. I don't know. Vanderbilt's got a lot to lose if they don't perform well today. I think Vanderbilt will win.
I think Vanderbilt's got Alabama. Don't they have Alabama? I think they got Alabama on the schedule today. Let me check.
No, they're playing Florida.
Yeah, Florida's playing Vanderbilt today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
I knew it was a big
Yeah, they
game.
play each other.
Alabama's out at Oklahoma.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's 3-1 conference record. Florida's 3-1. That's a huge game.
Yeah.
Florida's what, 19, ranked 19th. Vanderbilt's.
Yeah.
What are they ranked?
National rankings,
10.
Vanderbilt's 10th,
Yep, 10.
Arkansas 17th, Alabama's 18, Florida's 19, Georgia's 21, and Tennessee's 24.
That's tight.
You got 6 teams in the SEC, all in the top 25. That's the most of any conference in America.
Yep.
And you think, well, the SEC might be down a little bit this year. You don't have that really great team in there. You got some good teams, but you got a lot of parity, don't you? A lot of teams pretty equal. Huh?
Yep. It's very equal. And when it gets to tournament time, how many teams are going to get in the tournament?
Yeah. I'm looking at Vanderbilt up there on the top, and a lot of times when your football program does well, it carries over. And you're looking at Vanderbilt, what a great year they had in football, and now you're looking at basketball, what a great year they're having in men's basketball. And then you look on the other side, and the Lady Commodores are undefeated also. I mean, that's unbelievable. That means the right now, out of 30-some games, men and women basketball at Vanderbilt, only 1 loss. Wow. Donnie, that's unreal, isn't it?
I'm telling you, that is a real good start to the season.
Yeah, if you're the athletic director over there, you're feeling really good about it. If I was the athletic director, I'd be hitting some people up for some more facilities over there.
I would be, too.
At this particular point, I'm sure they
Especially
are.
after the football season they had.
You know where the head coach, the men's basketball head coach came from, don't you?
Huh?
You know where Brighton?
Yeah.
Brighton, you know where he came from, don't you?
James Madison?
Yes, sir.
JMU.
I'll tell you what, that
another coach.
That James
They poached
Madison,
another
they're just a proving ground for coaches to move on and make a lot of money.
Yeah, he did great at JMU, and he's doing great at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Well, the Big Ten's got 5 teams in the top 25. The Big 12's got 5. The ACC's got 5. Big East, 2. Mountain West, 1. West Coast, 1. I'm looking at the Big East down there, Donnie. You got UConn in there. Seton Hall, I think, was 25th, and UConn beat Seton Hall, so they'll probably drop out. You're looking at one of the best basketball conferences in the United States. They got 1 team in top 25.
I know. That's how do you figure that?
1 team
been
in
a
top
while.
25. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Let's look at the schedule. Let's look at the schedule here today. Kentucky, as we mentioned, is in here to Tennessee. Number 24, Tennessee, Kentucky's unranked. That game's at 12 o'clock on ESPN. Alabama is at Oklahoma. That's number 18, Alabama, and that's at 1 o'clock on the SEC Network. Number 19, Florida, is at number 10, Vanderbilt. Donnie, that's probably the marquee game.
I would say that may be one of the best games in the country right
that's
there.
At 2 o'clock on ESPN. And Vandy, of course, they got their first loss this week at Texas, and the Gators, they're on a roll. They may be the best team, as we mentioned, in the SEC, so that should be a heck of a basketball game. Missouri, who's kind of been under the radar.
They've flown
been
under the radar.
But, 13-4-3-1. They're at LSU. That's a 3:30 SEC Network game, and, of course, LSU's looking for their first SEC win, still shaking their head about what the heck happened there the other night in the last second of the ball game. And in John Calipari's group, number 17 Arkansas is at number 21 Georgia at 4 o'clock on ESPN2, and that should be a good one. I think Georgia was beaten by Ole Miss last week at home, so they really need this game against Arkansas at home if they've got any ideas about doing real well in the Southeastern Conference. And of course, Arkansas is will be trying to pick up a road win. In-state battle, Texas A&M is at Texas today, 6 o'clock on ESPN, and if you like full court presses, you can turn into that one and watch Texas A&M go.
Yeah.
What do they call it? 90 feet of hell or whatever. Or that's what they used to say. 94 feet of hell. That's what at Arkansas there.
Yeah,
long
that's
time
right.
ago, that's what they called it. Full court pressing all over the court. South Carolina is at a reeling Stephen Pearl Auburn team. Their place. That game's at 6 o'clock on SEC Network. Auburn 10-7 and 1-3. Guys, you can comment on this. How long is the rope for Stephen Pearl down there at Auburn?
Well, I would imagine that they're going to give him a little bit of a longer leash, but not too long. Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't start pulling out a game or two along, he's cooked.
Yeah. Well, he inherited a pretty good basketball team. His dad didn't leave him a bunch of junk. I mean, there was a lot of high expectations going into the season with this team. So we'll see what happens down there at Auburn. They did play really well against Arkansas down there and beat them really badly. So South Carolina, they're struggling. So I look for Auburn maybe to get a win today down there in that one. Ole Miss is at Mississippi State, another in-state battle. Ole Miss and Mississippi State at 8:30 on SEC Network. Listen to this: Ole Miss is 10-7, Mississippi State is 10-7. Ole Miss is 2-2 in the league, and Mississippi State's 2-2 in the league.
Good grief!
It's gonna be a dog
And
fight.
you know what? I mean, I'm saying, just pick whoever you want to pick.
Yeah.
Whoever you want in that one. But
Coach Trail would call that the Battle of the Mullets, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we'll take time out here, and when we return, Donnie Moore will provide some high school basketball scores from last night, and we'll talk some more UT sports. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports page, Blount County Sports Voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Welcome back to the GoTeez Sports page. Donnie Moore, all the basketball going on last night?
Well, there was some, and we got some area schools that haven't been reporting their scores, and that makes it a whole lot harder on me. So if they don't report them, I don't get them. So we're going to see what happened in prep basketball last night. Eagleton hosted Cumberland Gap, and they were one of the schools that did not report the scores, so I don't know scores on that. Greenback versus Polk County, and that's another one that didn't report their scores.
Question mark.
Can't say as I blame them.
Yeah.
In that instance. Heritage at Loudon last night. The Mountaineers and Lady Mountaineers took a twin killing last night on that one. 47-40 in favor of Lady Mountaineers, and 70-55 in favor of the Mountaineers in the boys contest. Boys have been playing well, haven't
Really
they, Mike?
have. They're ranked.
Yeah,
They're ranked in the state.
Wow.
Oh,
How often does that happen?
yeah. Well, they've been building the last couple of years.
You're
for
right,
it,
they have.
And, they've gone in the new division, and it's been beneficial.
It
It's
sure
worked
has.
out
It's
for
helped them out a lot.
They've adjusted very well to the new division, and that's great. Both their men's and women's programs at Heritage is on the move.
Yep, sure is. Can't say the same for William Blount in this case. Both teams traveled over a crosstown rival Maryville last night, and Maryville girls were victorious 54-43 over the Lady Govs, and in the boys contest it was 72-43 in favor of the Rebels.
I think William Blount a little up and down.
Yeah, they're a little
There's
inconsistent
there's
right
some
now.
rebuilding going on at William Blount. I think the girls are improved over last year.
I think you're right.
I think they're 7. I think they were 7-10 going into last night's game, and they're 7-11 now.
Yeah.
But they're showing some improvement. And in the guys, I think they're right around 500.
Yeah.
I think around 500 this year.
Well,
so,
you have up and down years.
Yeah.
They've had some good years in the past.
Yeah. I've always felt like a lot of times when if you want to see some real coaching going on, a lot of times it's these coaches that are around 500 or a little bit below that are really doing the best job of coaching, because they may not have the material that a lot of other people, and they're really doing above and beyond.
They're having to coach them up hard, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So you got to be a little bit careful. Of how you look at that, because
That's true.
You may be getting your best coaching jobs right there.
You got to give them the benefit of the doubts.
Exactly.
You're exactly right. Seymour traveled to Cocke County last night, and in the girls' contest, Cocke County took it to the Lady Eagles, 52-19. And then in the boys contest, Seymour boys, as they very often do, rebounded and beat Cocke County 68-53. So, you know, girls are struggling big time. Boys, not so much in this case. Well, that's all we've got for the Mandy. Alcoa. That they are to play South Doyle at home at Alcoa on Tuesday of this week, the 20th.
They didn't play last night. Did
No, they did not play last night. Had a night off.
Yeah.
Date night, I guess it could be for them. Well, that's it for this week's Mandy B Street Realty Local Focus. Sponsored, as always, by our friend Mandy B Street and her fine realty office. If you need anything that has to do with real estate, see Mandy B Street. She'll take care of you. That'll do it. So I want to let people know you're listening to WKCE, but we're actually not today. But we are on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
So tune into one of those media and pick us up right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to kick it back to my friend and veteran of the show, Mike Edwards.
All right.
And he's going to take us through some more sports news.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the NCAA Top 10 rankings, and this came out at the start of the week. So as we talk, you know, there may be somebody in here that's lost or won, and when we haven't updated. But going into this week, Arizona was ranked number 1, and they came into the week at 16-0. Iowa State, number 2 at 16-0.
Wow.
And both of those teams are they're Big 12 teams.
Yeah, they are.
Iowa State had a loss.
This week.
16-1. Yep.
This week, yeah. I don't have the update on this. Steve been talking about the standings, and of course these standings won't change until next Sunday or so, and they may or may not change depending on how everybody does. Connecticut's number 3, and they're 16-1, and I believe they won this week, so they're 17-1. And Michigan came in at 14-1, Purdue 15-1, number 5. Michigan was 4, Connecticut 3, Duke 15-1 at 6, Houston 15-1 at 7, and Houston's only lost to Tennessee.
That's
their
true.
only loss.
Yeah.
Nebraska's 16-0. Gonzaga 17-1, and then of course we've talked about Vanderbilt, and then on the edge, BYU at 15-1, and Michigan State at 14-2.
BYU's got a big game today. Texas Tech.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's Big 12.
That should be a good one.
That's a Big 12 deal, and of course if you're looking at that top 10. You know, you don't have an SEC team in there except number 10. You don't have anybody up there. There's no Kentucky's up there. There's no Tennessee's up there.
No.
There's no Arkansas. You know, the
They're
teams
knocking on the door.
Yeah, you're talking about some teams, Zach, that were there in the past that aren't there this year.
Yep. They're right there.
Yeah. But you've got some teams there that year in, year out, Donnie seemed to be there all the time. Connecticut being one of them, and Purdue being another one,
Sure.
and Duke and Houston and Gonzaga. You know, they're pretty familiar to the top 10 year in and year out.
And usually go quite a ways deep into the NCAA tournament at the end of the year too.
Yeah.
So.
And I look down there in the top 10, and you know, you're talking about into the middle of February now, and you got 10 teams there that going into the week, nobody had more than one loss. Nobody went and more than one loss. Of course, that's going to change. But I think as far as the tournament at this point, the NCAA tournament, it looks to me like it's going to be wide open. I know we got a lot of good teams. I don't know if we have that great team that everybody goes, there's a great team. I don't know who's going to beat them, and I don't see that.
Nope.
I don't see that right now. I just see a lot of parity and a lot of good teams across the country, and I think the transfer portal has had a lot to do with that. Donnie,
Of course it
think?
has.
Yeah.
Of course it has.
Yeah.
You got Nebraska at 8 with a 17-game win streak. You got Arizona with a 17-game win streak.
Yeah, and Nebraska went into Indiana, and I think they were down there last week and came back and beat Indiana there at, in Indiana's arena there in Bloomington. So that was a big win for them. Let's talk a little bit about the Lady Vol basketball team. We haven't spent much time with them.
Not a
young
lot.
ladies.
No, we haven't.
Well, let's talk a little bit about them. They're 12-3 overall and 4-0 in the Southeastern Conference. Before we start jumping up and down on the table here, and throwing out all the praise, those 4 wins have come against Florida. They beat Florida 76-65. Florida is next to last in the SEC right now. They beat Auburn 73-56. They're ranked 10th in the SEC right now. Mississippi State, they beat 90-80. They're ranked 12th in the SEC.
Not the country now, the SEC. Right?
Arkansas, they beat 85-50, and they're in last place.
Oh,
15th.
my goodness.
So there's 15 teams in the league, and they beat the 15th team, the 14th team, and the 12th and the 10th team. So, Donnie, with that being said, you got to be a little bit reserved on this Lady Vol basketball team right now, although they are building confidence.
They are. But I think it's wise to take a wait-and-see attitude there with them.
Yeah.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, they got Alabama tomorrow, and I believe Alabama is ranked.
Yep.
They are ranked.
21st.
Yeah, and so if they win tomorrow, then that will be the first win for them this year against a ranked team.
Yep.
Unless y'all can think of another one. I
can't
think of another one.
And then they have Kentucky on Thursday, 7th ranked Kentucky. They beat Louisville. No, Louisville beat them.
No, Louisville beat them.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I'm sure this will be the way it is. They've got 4 players in double figures. Talasia Cooper at 14.9%, Janiah Barker's at 14.5%, or 14.5 points per game, 14.9 for Cooper. Z Spearman at 11.5 and Mia Paldo at 11.4, and they've got Naya Robertson at 9.1. Donnie, I'm looking at that, and by golly, if you've got 4 players in double figures and one right there close to double figures, that speaks well of your offense. You can hang your hat on that.
It really does. And first of all, I want to congratulate you, Mike, on pronunciation of those names. You did a good job with those.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, when you've got 4 players in double figures, averaging double figures, you're going to win some ball games just on, if one of them may be a little off that evening or that day, then the others are going to step up and pick up the pace. So they're doing okay.
I was kind of evaluating them here and looking at their offensive performance. They're averaging 81 points a game, and their opponents are only averaging 60.
Wow.
And turnovers, they've had 236 turnovers, and their opponents 332. So they've
winning that battle.
They're forcing more turnovers than their opponents, and they've had 188 steals to opponents' 112. Rebounding 656 to 566. Out rebounding opponents by about 90.
Goodness.
And I still think the jury's out on them, but field goal percentage 42.2%, 3-point shots 30%. That could be improved without a doubt. Free throws 66.5%. You got some work to do there, but overall, I think this team is ready for some tougher games.
Oh, I do too. I think they're ready to move on and get in, be tested a little bit more from time to time.
One of the big problems that I've got an asterisk beside is their turnovers.
Okay.
They've had a little bit of problem with turnovers. They turned the ball over 25 times against Auburn. How do you turn the ball over 25 times and win 73-56? But they've been averaging 16 a game, but they were better against Arkansas. They only turned it over 18 times in that basketball
That's
game.
a little better. You're right.
Yeah. So, anyhow. Did I say 18 times or 8 times? Yeah.
18.
No, I'm sorry. They only turned it over 8.
8?
They
Well,
only
that's a whole lot
That's
better
a whole lot
then.
better. Yeah.
You got to catch me. 8 times. Only turned it
So,
over 8 times against Arkansas.
Their next 3 games, they have Alabama, Kentucky, and then Ole Miss, all ranked.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get it
That'll
together
be a
and
pretty
tighten
good.
up.
Yeah. Let's look at the
Pretty good
SEC
test.
women's standings. Vanderbilt, as we mentioned before, their women are 5-0 and 18-0 going into this week. South Carolina was 5-0 and 18-1. They were second in the SEC. Tennessee 4-0 and 12-3 overall. They were third. Kentucky fourth at 4-1 and 17-2. Ole Miss 5th, 3-1, 16-3. Texas 6th, 3-2, 18-2, and Alabama is 7th at 3-2 and 17-2 overall. So, hey, there's some pretty good teams in this women's
Yeah, no question
league in
about
the
that.
SEC. And it shows in the national ranking. They got 9 teams from the SEC in the top 25.
Yep. Kentucky's loss was to Alabama.
Yeah. National rankings, UConn number 1, South Carolina number 2, UCLA number 3, Texas number 4, and I believe South Carolina beat Texas this week. Vanderbilt's number 5, LSU 6, Kentucky 7, Michigan 8, Louisville 9, TCU is 10, and then after the top 10 there, you got Oklahoma at 13, Ole Miss at 16, Tennessee at 20, and Alabama at 21.
Speaking of UConn, did you see where they fed Gino's team pizza after a game sometime in just a recent past, and he was ripping on the pizza in Connecticut. He said it's just like somebody's poured red stuff in a box.
Yeah.
Of course, he's from around Philly, and
Yeah.
They probably got some pretty good pizza
You know,
there.
all the national championships that REM has won at Connecticut, which is impressive, and a lot of places would go, well, you know, Connecticut's a women's basketball school, but you know what? Their men have won a lot of national championships there too.
Yep.
See, so I mean,
It's
you're
a good
talking
program
about you're
all
talking about
around.
a men's program and a women's program that's pretty much on the same level right now as far as top 10 deals and so forth and so on. You got UConn in the women's number 1, and I think the men are. I think they're 3rd.
They're in the top
National
5,
ranking.
so
Yeah,
that's shoot,
Third.
can't beat
Right
that.
there at 17-1, 13-game win streak.
Yeah, so that's pretty impressive. You know, for years, you know, here at Tennessee, you heard, well, when are the men going to get better? You know, when Pat was coaching, Pat had someone was coaching here. You know, it's like, you know, you knew what their teams were going to do. And they were winning national championships, and you know, the men's program, you know, just couldn't compete with that. It's hard to compete, and I think it was hard to recruit. You know, because you know, other schools were saying, well, why do you want to go to Tennessee for? That's a women's basketball school there. Why do you want to go play basketball at Tennessee? But they can't say that about UConn. You know, and their men's program up there. So anyway.
Can't say it so much about Tennessee anymore, though, can you?
Yeah. Tennessee football. Still looking for a quarterback, Donnie?
I'd say so.
How much longer?
Checking the transfer portal every day.
I know, but
That's the missing piece.
Time's
It
kind
is
of
the
running
missing
out, isn't it?
It's getting close.
On a quarterback. So do you think
getting
that
close.
you know, it boils down to Joey Aguilar's case in court? And I know last week I saw where there was 4 or 5 players that were denied another year of eligibility.
Yeah.
Not him.
No, not him
But
as
I
of
think
yet.
his deal's coming up here
We'll
pretty
see.
soon. But if he doesn't get another year, then right now you're really down to McIntyre.
Well, we don't have another quarterback with any game experience at all.
No.
So you know, I'm sure they're, like I said, they're checking the transfer portal every day
Yeah.
to see if we luck out a little bit.
So how do you feel? How do you feel about their transfer portal and the players that they've brought in here so far? And you know, based on going into next year with you know, if you don't get Aguilar back, you know, you got another quarterback you're going to have to break in.
Plus, with the Tennessee has had several players enter the transfer portal too, and move to other.
Yeah, 20-some plus.
Yeah.
20-plus players. That's a lot of players.
Yeah.
And their tight end went last week.
Right. Somebody went yesterday.
Yeah,
So well, as a defensive guy, I think.
yeah.
Outside
I guess
backer
when you're
maybe.
here and you keep watching who they bring in, and if they bring in a couple of guys at your position, you better think about getting out of here because you're
Yeah.
probably not going to play. You're probably not going to play.
That's right.
But anyhow, hey, I've got some. While we've got some time here, I got some sports shorts.
All right.
Sports sports shorts. Yesterday, A.J. Foyt turned 91, Supertex.
Mm-hmm.
He turned 91 yesterday. Won 4 Indianapolis 500, 61, 64, 67, and 77. And I think he's the oldest guy to have qualified in Indianapolis, 50-some years old before he retired. And
It's a great driver.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
You know, when I was growing up, you know, and you had your car, and if you were driving too fast, somebody'd always go, "Who you think you are, Mario Andretti?" or they'd say, "Who you think you are, AJ Foyt?" It was always one of them two guys. It wasn't anybody else. And you knew there were a lot of really fast race car drivers, but it was always AJ or Mario, you know, as far as how you were driving. But, you know, the amazing thing about AJ Foyt was the fact that, you know, he raced back in the late 50s and the mid-50s on up into the 60s, 70s, 80s, and all through those decades into the 90s. And back in those early days, I mean, he was racing just about, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a week on these high-bank dirt tracks.
Yes.
No roll bars in those cars. I mean, you know, you're up above. And
Right.
just about, I mean, it just seemed like just almost every one of those races had a fatality. Every race you went to seemed like it had a fatality.
Yep.
I mean, I can't tell you how many race car drivers that were involved in any car racing were killed in those dirt tracks. All those tracks were ovals. There were no road courses back in those days. They were all ovals. Ovals on dirt, ovals on with pavement, like Indianapolis. They were just fast races.
Yep.
Safety barriers weren't very good. Get upside down in those cars, and you were just in really trouble.
That's
And
right.
he survived every bit
did.
of that
Yep.
without being seriously injured. You talk about a guy that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was one of the. It was amazing that he survived and got through that. Not only survived, but got through it pretty well, injury-free.
Yeah, he did.
And one of the races that he talked about racing at was at Langhorne, Pennsylvania, which was it was a circle track. You know, most tracks were oval or tri. Langhorne was a circle, flat out,
Really?
flat out, all the way around. They called it Puke Holler because it would get a rut in it, and it claimed so many drivers' lives. And a lot of them wouldn't run there. Roger Ward wouldn't run there, and a lot of them. And Foyt would run there. And then they had the 1958 winner, Jimmy Bryan, who was one of the best on dirt. He had won several times at Langhorne. And I wasn't afraid to drive at Langhorne. And he'd given up dirt track racing and was just going to run certain collar.
Oh,
Hit that rut, took him airborne.
Oh, no.
Flipped him, I don't know how many, killed him right there. But it was just amazing how dangerous it was back in those days. And, of course, A.J. Foyt came through all of that and has done really well for himself. Never graduated from high school.
He's inspired a lot of race car drivers.
He sure
A lot of
has.
professional race car
He's been an
drivers and-
inspiration to a lot of drivers. And what a personality he's had, you know, through the years. But you know, he just, you know, coming up as a young person in a fight all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said if he wasn't in a fight during the day, it just wasn't a good day for him. He got in a fight every single day. He was kicked out of school. And his dad was so hard on him. His dad was really hard on him. And his dad was a part of his pit crew for years and years. They had a service station down in Texas, and A.J. worked in there. Just all he cared about was racing cars. And he was taking a jalopy or a car. It may have been his dad's car.
Could
and
have
he
been.
was taking it out to a drag strip and racing it. And the police caught him out there, dragging the police.
Some punishments are worse than others.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Some punishments are worse than others.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Race, you know, at the speedway.
Yep.
But to
Oh,
go,
no.
and he walked to
Oh,
go,
no.
and he walked into that race. And in 1977, along with the rest of our broadcast crew, and it's time for the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment, sponsored by Anderson Lumber Company, where quality service is always a priority, proudly serving Blount County for over 100 years. I'm here with Donnie Moore and Zach Grandel, and we're talking some sports. I want to mention that Marcus Fitzsimmons is not here today because he's had family emergency, Donnie, down in
Right,
Nashville.
yeah, he
and
said
he normally has these segments.
He
And,
does.
and we're
We'll
filling in
just
for
have to-
him. We
we'll
hope
just have to
everything's
take
all,
over for him.
all
Think
right
about
down
it.
there. We're
Yeah,
looking
no
forward
doubt.
to having him back next week.
No doubt.
So, Marcus Freeman, the head football coach up at Notre Dame, has told the Fighting Irish administration that he is coming back next year, and they upped his salary, but there's still a lot of talk up there about NFL jobs. And so I'm not so sure he's coming back.
Well, he may not be. You never know.
He's meeting with NFL teams right now and kind of feeling all of that out. And, of course, what colleges fight with that is they can't, Zach, they can't meet the payroll as an NFL team. You know that. You follow
Absolutely.
NFL team.
There's,
And
what,
so,
7 head coach openings in the NFL right
Yes.
now?
Yeah.
I mean,
So you know that he's being mentioned
yep.
for some
Yep.
of those jobs. So what do you think? You think he's going to leave and take one of those positions and give it a whirl, take the money and run, so to speak?
Possibility. I don't know. There's too many moving pieces with all that.
That's
honestly.
for sure.
It's hard to speculate.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I know what I would do, but
Yeah. What would you do?
I'd take the money and run. I mean,
You
if
take
you're
the
gonna
money and
coach-
go. You'd be
Yeah.
like Tony Vitello over here at UT and just go out to San Francisco and go, I'll take the money. And,
Yeah.
gosh, if it doesn't
Hey.
work out, there'll be some colleges want me back again. I'll
Yep.
just go back to the college game.
Yep, try again. I mean, if you're going to coach, what's the point? Like, do you want to coach college? You want to coach what type of college? Like, or do you want to coach professional football
Right.
and not have to deal with NIL moving portal every year? I mean,
Yeah.
you go to the
You don't have to
NFL.
recruit.
Yeah, you don't have to
You
recruit.
know,
You have to
you're-
deal with
you're-
personalities.
Yeah,
but
you're kind
that's
of at
it.
the mercy of the general manager and who they bring in,
Yep.
who they draft, and that type of thing. You're kind of at the mercy of that.
You
but
are.
You don't
Yep.
have to worry about all the recruiting and the portal
Yeah.
and all the headaches.
Yeah,
of
losing
college
half
coaching.
your team every year.
Yeah. Johnny Moore,
Yeah, really.
there have been some college coaches that's moved on to the pros. Saban, he went down to
Saban did.
Miami,
Yeah.
and that didn't work out too good. And then he went back to Alabama.
Jim Harbaugh.
Yep. Pete Carroll.
Harbaugh.
Pete Carroll. Yeah, that's another one.
They've gone, they've done all right.
They have, yeah.
I hate
Lou
to say
Holtz,
this.
Lou Holtz, he left college job,
Yep.
went to the New York Jets.
Yep.
Didn't turn out so good. Didn't
No.
stay there very long at all.
Matt Rule came and ruined my Panthers for a couple years.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Yeah. So, be interesting to see what happens. There's a lot of jobs out there, and it's sort of like college football, Zach. There's been a lot of jobs out there, but not a lot of great coaches to take these jobs. Huh?
Yep, it's a difficult place to. I mean, just to be in that position. Either you're under a contract or, to move around. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NFL's got a recycling program. They just coach gets fired one place, they recycle him to another
Yeah.
location. a
Yeah,
lot
where
of
we were
times.
talking about, is it Vrabel?
Yeah, Mike Vrabel.
Mike
Yep.
Vrabel, that coached at the Titans, did an
Titans.
excellent job with the
I
Titans.
thought so too.
Yep.
And now
And
he's up at New England.
doing
and
a
he's
good
got
job
new
at
life
New
up
England,
there.
too.
And
Doing
yeah,
the
by
same
golly,
thing.
they're one of the contenders.
They're
don't
for
you
real.
think?
Yep.
And so tomorrow they'll be lining up, and you're probably going to have that more in the headlines there. But they're going to be lining up tomorrow in snow.
Yeah.
They're called 2 to 4 inches of snow up there tomorrow. So
Yes.
it'd be interesting to see if they've got that. What is that plow? It gets right down to the end. You got to have a field goal, and you plow it up right there
Yep.
so the guy can kick
Yep.
the field goal.
Yeah.
Remember when they did that? That was kind of cool back in the day. And then you got Chicago. You got the Rams coming into Chicago, and the weather's going to be 6 above 0.
That's going to be brutal for
That's
LA.
that's a huge advantage. I mean, the
It
weather, those stadiums, they're going away. Lambeau, we were talking about Lambeau, Soldier
Yeah.
Field. Those stadiums are eventually going to go away, but that weather is a huge benefit. Come playoff time into the season.
Definitely.
Yeah, you don't think those L.A. players will be huddled up to those burners on the sidelines?
yes.
They'll be huddled.
yeah.
Yeah, no
Mighty.
kidding.
Yeah.
Turn
Well,
on the heater.
The good
they'll
thing
say.
about playing the Bears, they're going to let you be ahead until the last 30 seconds of the game, and then they're going to break your heart. That game they won there, what was it, a week ago, was just
Yep.
absolutely unbelievable against the Packers.
Packers.
They weren't even in the game.
Yep.
The whole time, and then came back and
Yeah, talk
came
about
back and-
cardiac kids.
Yeah, it's
They
been that way
are.
all year with
It
them.
sure
Yeah.
has.
All year.
Yep.
The college football playoffs, there's going to be some talk about expansion to 16 teams, or maybe even to 24. I believe the Big Ten has got an outline. Of course, they got a lot of say in this. A 24-team playoff. I want to get you guys' take on the. Would you rather see a 16 or 24?
Boy, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't know how it would work.
When are they going to start? When does it start? When does it end? I mean, if you take it to a 24-team
yeah.
playoff, does it start
Exactly.
in December and go through March? Like, as a player, you play one game a week. Like, are you extending the season, regular season?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, they'll
I
have to do
think if you
something
go- I
because
think
the
if-
UFL starts in March.
I think
Yeah.
if you go to 16 or 24, you're making these championship games part of the schedule, part of
It
the
has-
playoff schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the bowl games, a lot of these bowl games are not meaning very much.
Yeah,
So if you go to 24, then you can start the bowl games.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
going to be some bowl games that's going to mean a lot more.
Yep.
And I got Jenna down there, and if we go to 24, I'm all for putting Jenna in there, or maybe Tulane or Timbuktu or Jimmy Joe, or I don't care. I mean, let them have their due. If you got 24,
Yeah.
but take the best teams out of the 24. If you got 16, I'm a little bit reluctant, to take any D5s.
Any rebuttal there, Jenna?
No rebuttal, but I'm a little bit reluctant there. I want to see the best 12, the best 16, but 24 gives you a little bit more leeway.
It does.
Yeah.
A little bit more leeway. I think if you're D5, I would think that you would favor that 24 setup. And
If it gets any more than 24, though, they may have to start playing 2 games a week.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's not football. Obviously, different than basketball.
Sure
College,
it is.
The basketball tournament there can be upsets. Football, obviously, this year, not a lot of upsets. And
Right.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But if you take the top 12 teams and you have more competitive games, the top,
24.
I kind of do, too.
I like the 24. You play one game.
I wouldn't have a
You're
problem
down
with
to
that.
12. In 2 games, you're down to 6. You win this. You win this
Yeah, if
race.
you
You're
win it.
automatically into the playoff type deal.
Are they
going
like
back?
that?
Well, they call it Back to the Future.
I like
Yep.
that.
Back to the Future, where
Yeah.
you go all year long and you win it. You win the most points. You win the championship.
I think that's a great
I like
thing.
that.
I do, too.
Yep.
I like that. I like the old way of doing the deal and going back, and we'll see what that happens. What happens with that type of setup? Basketball transfer window. They moved it to 15 days. 15 days. The men's going to be April 7th through the 21st, and the women's going to be April 6th through the 20th. And the
That's right.
that's
will.
a good move.
Yeah,
That's a
the
good
way
move
it
because
should
look,
be. That's the way it
don't you
should
guys
be.
think football, the
Absolutely.
transfer portal being open during the playoffs? That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is
unbelievable.
crazy.
Unbelievable.
It is.
Coaches, players, like, where's your mind at?
Yeah, and coaches,
Yeah.
you're fooling. You got your team playing in the playoffs. You won't be fooling with the transfer portal,
Yep.
do you?
No.
No. So it used to be the transfer window used to be 30 days for basketball instead of the 15. So they're back to that. Bracketology. If it was City, they would be playing McNeese State. Years they've been in the. I don't think, as far as the games they've won in their resume. How do you feel about that?
I totally agree. I don't think they're going to have the high seedings like they have in the past few years especially. I just don't think it's going to happen because of strength of schedule and because of record.
Yeah.
Record.
Yeah. Well, they got a few good wins there. Houston be going to be a lower seed, and they've been in the past. If you're a lower seed, you got work to do.
I think so too.
You got work to do into the tournament. Been some talk about eligibility. Get you guys take on this. What do you think about going to 5-year college sports eligibility instead of 4? I I mean, right now you got 4 years of eligibility, and then
Yeah,
you're
you
looking
do.
at, these guys are saying, well, if I'm at junior college, they shouldn't count. They go to court. You give them an extra year. You got guys that's gotten hurt. I
Right.
want an extra year. You got all this. What if you just say you got 5 years of eligibility?
If they do something with the transfer portal, I would be for it. But that's 5 years. I mean, that's five different teams.
Yeah, no
potentially. I
kidding.
mean, it just gives me a headache to think about. But if
Well,
they
you
do
need
something with
both.
the transfer portal, then you can only transfer so many times, and programs can get built. Then I'm all for it. But
Donnie?
I agree. I think there's some. Didn't they used to have a policy where you had 5 to play 4, 5 to be 4
Well, you can take a
play
redshirt
eligibly?
year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they had the
Yeah,
COVID
yeah,
year.
sure.
It got all
COVID
crazy. It got
changed it.
crazy with the COVID year
Yeah.
because you had a redshirt COVID. You could end up with, 6 years?
At least
what's
6,
his name?
yeah.
Played 7. Georgia.
Yeah, I think so.
My goodness, yeah, he was
7
there
years
forever.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, he sure was. But it's
Here, if you're reasoning in the 5 years,
wouldn't mind
if you're
it.
reasoning in the 5 years, and the NCAA says, education's, it's not, we're not stressing that like we need to. Well, in the 5 years, you could work on your advanced degree.
Yeah.
If you got your,
Be a doctor.
you never hear anything about this education part. And you don't know how this is working right now. You don't know where these kids' credits are, and they're transferring to 3 different schools in 4 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Credits transferring, where are they at on graduation? There's no discussion about where that is.
The student athlete.
Or is it just they can just skip from one school to another, and as long as they're enrolled, does it count? I don't know. Donnie, what do you think? I mean, as far as if it was legit, and you were working toward a degree in 4, and you got your degree, and you had a 5th year of eligibility if you wanted it,
yeah.
then you could work toward another degree.
An advanced degree.
It seems
I don't
like
see
it would
anything
be a
wrong with that.
workable deal and solve a lot of problems just to go to 5 years.
And I think you're right. I think it would be a solution, maybe not the solution,
Yeah.
but at least a solution.
Would
at
it
this
keep
point.
players out of court, from filing court cases, or would they be back to going, well, I want a 6th year because, this happened or that happened or whatever, but
Give them 6 and they want 7?
yeah,
Exact
but 5
7.
years with the NIL money be a pretty good deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Have a
kids?
master's degree in teaching and making $5 million a year playing football. I mean,
Absolutely. Another year.
Sure.
I know that when I played, we had 3 years of eligibility, and,
Right.
and players would go, is so-and-so still up there at Kentucky? Now, this is back in my day. Seems like he's been there forever. Can you imagine somebody today? It seemed like, Ziegler, for instance, seemed like he was over there forever. Huh?
He
And-
was, yeah. I
yeah.
thought it did seem that way.
Yeah. But of course, we weren't eligible as freshmen,
Right.
back in the day. But I remember people saying, even back then, gosh, is he still there? He seems like he's been there for ever and ever. Well, 3 years is nothing. But
How many games did y'all play as
we
freshmen?
played 25 games.
25 games.
25 games. That's all we could play. Yeah. Then if you played a scrimmage game before the year, it counted as a game.
Oh, wow.
So we scrimmaged. We had 2 scrimmage games. We played Wake Forest. We went to Wake Forest. Well, I was a freshman. We went there to play, and then we went down to play. We had Houston on the schedule. We were going to Houston to play, and they were really strong back in those days. Guy Lewis was the coach,
Yeah.
and Coach Mears wanted to get us ready to go, so we went down to play Jacksonville in a scrimmage game. Jacksonville was real strong, if you remember. Artis
Oh, yeah.
Gilmore and
Pembroke
that bunch.
Burrows.
Yeah, they were really strong.
Twin
so he wanted to go
Towers.
down there, and so we did. We went down there to Jacksonville, and they just absolutely annihilated us. They pressed us all over the place, and we hadn't really worked against the press, and they just killed us. Just absolutely killed us. It was like a high school gym that we played in down there.
Yeah.
And so we went to play Houston. It was the same day that Tennessee played Penn State in football over here. Joe Paterno brought Penn State in
Right.
there. I think it was the first night game. And we were down in Houston playing, and we got beat 1 point down there.
Oh, no.
At Hall-Fives Padilla, we got beat 1 point down there. Played really well.
Yeah.
But we sacrificed the game to go to Jacksonville.
Aw.
So you couldn't play a scrimmage or any type of deal like that back here. So
How many freshman games did you play? On the schedule?
we played 20+ freshman games.
Okay.
Now, we
Well,
didn't
good.
play every SEC team. We played most all the SEC teams, so we got to travel with the varsity.
Good.
But we played a lot of teams around here: Tennessee Tech, East Tennessee State,
Yeah.
Eastern Kentucky. But we played 20+ basketball games, and
What's
a
the
lot
regular
of
season now?
Huh?
What's the regular season now? Like a
30-some games, isn't it?
Oh, it's-
32
yeah,
games, or
30,
something like
30
that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're comparing statistics from my era to this area, you got to really go on percentages. What was your field goal
Yeah, you do.
percentage?
Sure.
You can't go on total points because obviously these guys play. They probably play 4 or 5 years game-wise compared to the 3 years that we played.
Yep.
You know, we played 75, 77 games, and they playing 140 games. You know, you're playing almost 2 more seasons.
No
you know,
kidding,
for everything.
yeah.
So you got to go. What was the if you're comparing players, you got to go by their field goal percentage, free throw percentages,
Right.
and averages, and
Yep.
rebound averages, and that
yeah.
type of thing. Not
Yep.
not necessarily total points. So. Donnie Moore, you over there signaling?
It's time.
It's time.
Yeah,
Okay. well,
time to take a break.
all right. We'll turn the page, and when we return, it'll be the Boyd Spotlight. Correct? We're up to the Boyd Spotlight.
will.
You're listening to the GoTeez Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber and for all your home's needs or shop over 67,025.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Hey, welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Boyd's Sports Spotlight segment. Donnie Moore, I've been talking a lot. I'm going to let you talk some here.
All right, let me rest your voice a little while. here.
Headlines, huh?
You got it. Our
Go to
sports
it.
headlines, as always, brought to you by our friends at Fast Signs. Whoosh. Well, the NFL coaching carousel has spun at a rapid pace for the past few days. Here's a list of teams that currently have no head coach. Their regular season records are next. The Raiders came in did a 3-14 worksheet this year. Not too good. Coach was key word being the operative word there. The Cardinals also posted a 3-14 record, and their coach was Jonathan Gannon. Titans, another 3-14 team this season. Coach Brian Callahan. The Giants, 4-13. Their head coach was Brian Dable, and as of now, John Harbaugh is
Yep.
working out a deal to
Yeah.
become
Yep.
the Giants head coach. Hasn't been announced yet, but I'm sure
Well,
will be.
They'd be glad to have him.
Yeah, boy, no kidding. Next team on the list with no coach, the Browns at 5-12. Their coach was Kevin Stefanski. The Dolphins this year had a down year. They had a 7-10 record, and Mike McDaniel was their coach. The Falcons 8-9. Raheem Morris was their coach. The Ravens 8-9 under the direction of John Harbaugh. And Steelers 10-7. Had a 10-7 record and
That's unbelievable.
had their coach step down. Mike Tomlin, of course, was the coach there. Been there for a long time at Pittsburgh.
He stepped down, but he was feeling the heat.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was. He sure was. UFC promoters will soon begin working on the card for an event planned to coincide with President Trump's birthday on June the 14th. The event, scheduled to be held at the White House, will not feature Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, a fight originally scratched from UFC 303 in June 2024. UFC President and CEO Dana White said he was not interested in rebooking that matchup.
Where are they going to have that match? Where they're going to build that ballroom? There's
I
plenty,
guess,
there's
yeah.
plenty of space there.
Yeah, it'd be inside there, inside the new space
The
there.
Thunderdome. Welcome to the Thunderdome.
They're not building anything there. Let's go ahead and put the ring right there.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting article. Federal prosecutors on Thursday charged multiple people, including several former and current college basketball players, in an alleged point-shaving scheme. The indictment states that more than 39 college basketball players on 17-plus Division I teams fixed and attempted to fix in excess of 324 and or the 24-25 seasons. 4 of the current players listed in the indictment are, and they're telling names, they're giving names now, Simeon Cottle of Kennesaw State, Camion Shell of Delaware State, Carlos Hart of Eastern Michigan, and Omar Carisi of Texas Southern.
Now let me ask you this. This doesn't surprise me at all, and Zach, you can chime in too. This doesn't surprise me at all because when they made gambling legal and so forth and so on, you knew that this was probably going to take place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All those names that you named right there are probably not schools that's got big NIL deals.
No.
So you got gambling
They
plus
don't.
the NIL situation, and I think all you're doing is promoting what's happening
I
right
think
here.
you're exactly right. I think it's going to be more prevalent in the future if they don't do something for these smaller schools.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty suspect if you're betting on those games. I mean, if you're betting
yeah.
big money on those types of games,
Yeah.
that's suspect
Oh yeah, big
in
time.
general.
Yeah.
Well, the NFL playoffs have reached the divisional round this weekend with 2 games scheduled for today at 2 number 1 seeds. They are the Bills, number 6, at the number 1 Broncos. That should be a pretty good game. I don't know, 4:30 p.m. on CBS. And number 6 49ers at the number 1 Seahawks, 8 p.m. on Fox. Two pretty decent games,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I think the 49ers are a little bit beat up.
Yep.
They are.
But what a win they had. Philadelphia knocked Philadelphia out.
Oh, yeah.
The defending Super Bowl
Yeah,
champs
sure
last
did.
weekend
Yep.
at Philadelphia, I believe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're right.
They are beat up a little bit, but
They can still
they
still
got
do
a
some
good club.
damage, inflict some damage, can't they?
And the
So-
Bills have to do it this year. If the Bills can't get it done this
Right.
year, they're not. I mean,
Yep, you're
They still
exactly
got
right.
they got Josh Allen.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah, they got Superman out there. That quarterback helps a little bit.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's games are the number 5 seeds at number 2 seeds. One of them is the number 5 Texans at number 2 Patriots, 3 p.m. on ESPN and ABC, and the number 5 Rams at the number 2 Bears. That's
The
one
Bears.
That's one we were talking about. It's going to be so
you want
cold
to tune into
up
both
there.
those games in New England,
Yeah.
Chicago tomorrow because it's
Yeah.
that weather.
Mhm.
Yeah, that weather's going to play a big part.
You
yeah,
better
get your
believe it.
fireplace going right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Next up is Championship Sunday. The Super Bowl is Sunday, February the 8th at 6:30 p.m., played at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. The game will be broadcast on NBC.
Well, that won't be a good place for the Bears to be playing. It'll be hot out
Oh,
there.
they'll get too warm. Won't they? They'll have to shed some of those big fur coats. The U.S. women's national team's midfielder, Rosa Lavelle, has been voted the 2025 U.S. Soccer Female Player of the Year. The 30-year-old Lavelle won the award for the first time in her career after playing a vital role for the USWNT and for Gotham Football Club in 2025. So congratulations to Rose Lavelle, female soccer player of the year. Let's look at a few of the things that happened on this day in sports, January the 17th. Going all the way back to 1934, New York Giants reward the National League Most Valuable Player pitcher Carl Hubble with a massive $18,000 contract.
Whoa.
1934.
Hell, somebody out there in the Dodgers, what, they get a $400 million deal last week?
yeah.
Something like that?
Jeez. I mean, $18,000. I guess that was big money.
$60
back
million a
then.
year
It
they're
was a
going to
lot
pay
of money
this guy.
then.
You can't even get a
Played for the
cab in
Cubs
New York
last-
City for
Played for the
$18,000.
Cubs.
Oh, yeah,
last year.
yeah. That's the name just left me, but
You're
I
having
know
a
who you're
senior
talking
moment,
about. Yeah, I
aren't you?
am.
Me too. But
1952, the NFL draft, quarterback Bill Wade from Vandy is the number 1 overall pick by the Los Angeles Rams.
yeah, went to the Chicago Bears, played for George Halas, and won a NFL championship with the
Sure
Bears,
did.
quarterback in the Bears.
Let's move to 1961. NBA All-Star Game was held. The West won that one 153 to 131 over the East. Most valuable player was, in fact, the youngest most valuable player ever was Cincinnati Royals' Oscar Robertson. Big O.
The Big O.
Big O.
The
He
Big
had
O.
he had 23 points and 14 assists in
Yep.
that game.
That's how he signs his name, the Big O.
Big O, that's right. 1970, Sporting News names Willie Mays Player of the Decade for the 1960s. And, of course, our vote goes to Charlie Paleo for the 1980s
Yeah.
Player of the Decade. So,
Yeah.
1990.
Before you go any further
Okay,
than that,
what you got?
that Willie Mays, the Player of the Year in the 60s,
Yep,
I'm telling you, there were a lot of good players in the 60s.
there sure were.
I mean, you got Hank Aaron.
Yep.
You got Hank Aaron.
And he won Player of the Decade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
think
that's
of
just
all
from the Sporting News.
And
It's
all
just-
the pitchers. The pitchers are they?
I
Are you
know.
talking about pitchers in on this too?
yeah, I would imagine
Bob
so.
Gibson and Juan Marshall and Drysdale and we could go on.
Yeah, we could. You're right. But 1990, Major League pitcher Dave Stewart signs a record $3.5 million contract with the Oakland A's. And that was a record at
Did
that
the
time.
A's have
yeah.
more money back then than they got now? 'Cause
They
don't
must.
they seem to always be
Moneyball.
broke now.
Yeah, Moneyball.
Yeah, they must. No kidding.
Yeah.
1994, Patrick Ewing becomes the first New York player to reach 15,000 career points. Boy, he could play, couldn't he?
Great
Patrick
college
Ewing.
player.
Yeah, he
too,
was.
Georgetown.
Outstanding. You
Georgetown.
better believe it. 1997, NBA suspends Dennis Rodman indefinitely for kicking a camera operator. Remember that?
Where's he at now? Is he still around here? Or is,
Good
he,
question.
is he living in North Korea?
He may be.
It's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
tell.
It is
You don't
hard
hear
to
much
tell.
about him, do you?
No,
Anymore?
you don't.
That's a good thing, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, they call him the Worm,
The
didn't they?
Worm. Yeah, he was
Call him the Worm.
He's a heck of a
I
rebounder.
would like to
Great
be
player.
nicknamed the Worm. I
The
don't know.
Worm, yeah. I don't know. That's not a very appetizing and
Yeah.
appealing nickname. 2012. Jump to 2012. LeBron James becomes the youngest player in history to score 20,000 career points.
Well, he's
Youngest-
beyond that now.
He sure is. A couple of birthdays. Well, more than a couple, but a few. 1908, Cus D'Amato. Remember Cus D'Amato?
No, I don't.
He was a boxing manager. He was
Yeah.
Tyson's manager.
Yep.
He was Floyd Patterson's manager.
Wow.
Yeah. He was born in New York City in 1908 on this day. Died in 1985.
All those guys were born in New York, weren't they?
Pretty much.
New
yeah.
York and New Jersey.
Yeah.
Charlie probably knew some of them.
I bet he did. Bet he did. Bet he did. 1931. Born on this day, Don Zimmer.
Don Zimmer.
That's a
Wow.
great name. Major League Baseball infielder and manager. Born in Cincinnati, Ohio. Died in 2014.
I got a Don Zimmer baseball glove one time for my birthday. It had 3 fingers in it. It only had Don Zimmer down in the palm of it. It had 3. It had a place for your thumb, and I counted. I had 5 fingers, but this glove only had 3.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of 3-finger glove?
I thought
I've
you
heard
meant-
of a first baseman's mitt or something where
Like-
you put 2 fingers
no,
in the
this
same
was a-
hole.
This was a fielding glove.
Oh, wow. No, I
Well, to
have
say the least, it didn't get much use.
not.
I thought you meant you dumped it out in 3 fingers.
No, it's crazy.
Born on this day in 1942, a guy that you might recognize, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali.
No.
Born in Louisville, Kentucky. Died in 2016.
Yeah, colorful guy when he was
Oh,
boxing.
definitely.
Hey, he was the head of the sports world back in
He
those
sure
days. You know, all
was.
the interviews with Howard Cosell and
King of the ring.
yeah, I miss those days. Boxing's never been the same,
No,
has it?
it hasn't. You're
Since
right.
the days of Muhammad.
Yep.
Born in 1982 on this day, Dwayne Wade, NBA point guard, born in Chicago, Illinois. And then we've got one major death in the sports world, and I'm not really sure we could even classify this as a sports related item, but Bobby Fischer died
The
on
chess
this
player?
day.
Chess player.
World Championship chess player, 1972 to 75, died in 2008.
Okay.
I guess it's a game, so I guess you could
Yeah.
lump it in there
Yep.
with some sports. Well, that's all for this week's headline segment, brought to you as always by Fast Signs. Whoosh. I'm Donnie Moore. Back to you, Gunner.
Hey, let's talk about Indiana and Miami. We're down to two teams. Indiana's 16-0, and they're going in to play Miami, and Miami's home field. Miami comes in at 13-2. If Indiana wins this game, they will be a school that has gone undefeated in football and undefeated in basketball to win a national championship.
That's something.
That
Each
is.
sport.
That's really something.
That game's going to be at Hard Rock Stadium on Monday at 7:30. It'll be telecast on ESPN. And I got a question here for you. Why in the heck is this game being played in Miami? Why is it being played in Miami? They're the number 10 seed.
They really are.
I think they picked
like a home-
the stadium.
I
before.
know what
They did, yeah.
I know what they did, but they don't do that in the pros.
Yeah, it's
They go by seeding in the pros, and they don't say, well, we picked that stadium on down the road.
yeah.
Why? It seems to me like if you're the number 1 seed, you ought to be playing in Indianapolis or Chicago or someplace
Makes sense.
closer by to your deal. I mean, why would you favor the number 10 seed here? I think that's a pretty big advantage.
I think they could play at the college stadium, as far as I'm concerned, and Indiana's going to whoop them up. I mean, they could play at home in their
Yeah.
university stadium. I don't think it's going to make any
It
difference.
may not make a whole lot of difference.
Well, I'm saying that maybe if we went to 24 teams, maybe we'd start to to get more venues around the country. I mean, so many of these stadiums are domed anymore. I mean, we don't have to play in Atlanta, or we don't have to play in the Cotton Bowl, and we don't have to play out in the Fiesta Bowl. I mean, weather used to play a big part in bowl games and such at this time of year, but anymore it doesn't. You can play in Detroit if you want to, or you can play Indianapolis or Chicago, or not Chicago, but they don't have a dome stadium, but
New Orleans?
or New York.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you can find a dome stadium somewhere where you can play. But anyway, they're going to play down there in Miami. So I guess my first question is how big a deal is that, Donnie?
I'm with you. I think it's a fairly significant advantage for the U. But here again, on the other hand, I'm not sure it's going to make a whole lot of difference.
What do you think, Zach?
Indiana's strong.
Yeah, I agree. Indiana has looked incredible all season, and I wasn't a believer. Like, I was waiting for them to trip up or somewhere along the way, and they have handled every single team that they've played so far, and I don't think Miami has anything for them.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Well, let's talk about these two teams. First of all, let's talk about Miami and what they have to do to win. What does Miami have to do, Donnie, to win this football game?
Lock Indiana in the locker room before the game where they can't get out.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Seriously, I just don't see this being much of a game. And as to the question, what can they do to win it? I have no idea. I don't think it can be done at this point.
Zach?
Hope for injuries during the game, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
don't
both of these
know.
teams, we can't really point to injuries because both of these teams, from what I've read and what I'm getting, is both of them are going to be pretty much at full strength.
Yeah,
Yeah,
full strength.
very healthy.
And that's
Yep.
usually not the case in a championship game. You usually got a player here and there out,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
both of these teams are going to be at their best. So I've written some things down, and I'm not I'm not thoroughly convinced, at this stage. Here's why. Indiana's toughest games that they've had this year have been against Iowa, Penn State, Ohio State, all running ball control football teams.
Yep.
They've controlled the clock. They've controlled the ball. They've ran the ball. What kind of team is Miami? They're a running football team.
Yes, they are.
And if you look at their games in the playoffs, they have run that clock down to where, like the Texas A&M game, up until right at the end, it's like a soccer game. Like a soccer game. They're running it down. And look at the Mississippi game where they controlled twice the minutes in that football game compared to what the minutes that I think it was 40-22. Ole Miss only had the ball 22 minutes in the whole game. So I'm not so sure there. Miami has got to control the ball and they got to control the time. If they can do that, which they have done in the playoffs, this is going to be a pretty tough football game for Indiana. It's going to go right down to the deal, and that's going to keep Fernando Mendoza and Indiana offense off of the field, and they have got to do that. They cannot win if they let Mendoza on the field and let him have his touches. Then they're in big trouble.
That's the thing. It's Miami's defense that has to.
But they've gone through Texas. They've gone through Texas A&M. They've gone through Ohio State. They've gone through Ole Miss.
Yeah.
None of those people were able to stop them from controlling the run and controlling the clock, and they've got a huge offensive line.
Yep.
So Indiana's going to be outweighted up front. Indiana's well coached. They got good people. They got fast people on their defense, but they're not deep. Indiana's not deep on that defense, and if they control the ball and the clock and they run the football and they wear them down and they can't sub, they got a chance. They do. They got a chance. Now, they got to pressure Mendoza. They got to keep him off balance and limit the time in the pocket and keep him contained. Can't let him get out there and run. Miami is number 5 in the country in scoring defense. They got to cover the receivers, and that's a big. They got to cover Indiana's receivers, and that's a big chore because they're making unbelievable plays.
They are. They don't drop many balls.
They are. They're making unbelievable plays.
And the quarterback play, the quarterback just puts the ball in a place you can't get.
And those are big plays. They got to take those big plays away from Indiana.
Yep.
They got to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Don't let Indiana get off to a fast start. You just can't. If Miami has to play behind, it's going to get ugly. They're not a behind football team.
No.
When you're running the ball and controlling the clock, you got to be ahead.
Yep.
So they can't let Indiana get off to a fast start, get up a couple of touchdowns, and try to play catch up. It's going to be hard for them to do. They got to protect Carson Beck. They got to give him time to throw. I think Carson Beck, from what I've seen at Georgia and what I've seen at Miami, he is an outstanding quarterback when everything's going pretty good. I'm not sure how good a quarterback he is if he's hit with a lot of adversity. If he gets down a couple of touchdowns, he gets a couple of sacks on him. He makes gets a couple of picks.
Yep.
I don't know. I think Mendoza. If I got to pick 2 quarterbacks that can handle adversity, I'm picking Mendoza.
Oh yeah,
because I think Mendoza can handle. But Carson Beck, I'm just not really sure, and that's kind of been the rap on him.
Yeah. If the game's on the line at the end of the game, which quarterback would you rather have? I mean.
Yep. And Beck's got to play he's played lights out in the playoffs so far. He's played really well. It's been a really good move for them to get him from Georgia, come in there. Outside of the 2 losses they had during the year when they kind of weren't playing as well as they needed to be playing.
Yeah.
He's done really well, but he's got to play his best game Monday night. They got to score touchdowns. I don't think you can beat Indiana and Mendoza with the points they put up kicking field goals.
Yep.
And Indiana's, if you hear Signetti, he's going to say, what do we want to do on defense? Want to hold them to field goals. He'll tell you that. He made that comment in the last football game.
Yeah.
We need to hold them to field goals. Hold them to field goals, they're going to score touchdowns.
Yeah,
So,
and if you're going to play that grind them down type of football, you have to score touchdowns at the end of it. Because if you're just running the clock down, Indiana's going to come and
Yeah.
score in 30 seconds.
take advantage of the home field. I don't know how many Indiana people are going to be down there. I know there's going to be a lot of Miami people, and Miami football is kind of, if you watch Miami games during the season, they have all right crowds. But now that they're in the playoffs, they have a lot of crowd. They have a lot more following now than they usually do during the season. Indiana, I don't know what's going to happen with them. I don't know. Are they going to have? Is it going to be a half and half deal down there, or are they going to? They're going to go down there in Indiana, get a hold of a bunch of tickets and make it look like Atlanta. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Jenna's brother lives in Atlanta, and he said it looked like an Indiana home game. And I read, I think it was last week, that Indiana has the largest alumni base. So, and Miami traditionally is not. It's like California, not a really big sports.
Yeah, well, you got the pro deal going on. You got pro football going on, and the pro sports are a big deal. So that kind of takes away from your college.
Yep, I think Indiana fans will show up. I mean, they're showing up in Atlanta was incredible, and Indiana basketball fans travel well. Indiana football, obviously hasn't been that great traditionally, but now that they're great, I mean, they're showing up.
Yeah, and it's a little bit like in Indiana when I was growing up in high school basketball. If you lived in an outside community, there wasn't a whole lot to do because everybody came to the high school games.
Yeah.
They packed these gyms all over the state. They built gyms in communities that were bigger than they had people in the town.
Yep.
But the Indianapolis schools, there was so much to do in Indianapolis, nobody supported them. But boy, when they got in the state tournament and they started advancing and going down, wow, they brought all kinds of people, that started showing up when they started to win. So I kind of look – Miami to me is a lot like that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. We'll see.
Also, I've got a couple of other things marked down here for Miami. Third down conversions. They got to come up big with third down conversions.
Yeah, they do.
They can't.
They'll have to.
They can't. They can't be giving the ball back.
No.
And I think Miami will take some chances on fourth down.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck with that. But I think they will.
Indiana's
with their
defensive
line.
coordinator, another JMU guy.
I think they got to realize they got to keep the ball. They got to keep the ball and the momentum on the field. So I think they're going to run some fourth down situations.
Yep.
Penalties been a problem for Miami. Little less discipline in Indiana on penalties.
Yeah.
They've been hit with some. It almost cost them in the Mississippi game. Penalties they got on Mississippi's last drive. Remember they had the 15-yarder and maybe a couple of 15-yard penalties that set up the last throw into the end zone. So they got to be a little bit careful with all of that. But Miami, they got more football tradition than Indiana's got. They got some heritage there. They've got some national championships. That they won. Miami has won the 5 national championships. Indiana hadn't won any national championships.
Yeah, look at the sidelines. They got Michael Irvin, like Hall of Fame NFL players on the sidelines for the games.
Yeah, pumping them up, and you got Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
Giving his 2 cents worth to Miami, and I don't know, Donnie.
Yep.
I don't think he should. He got to be careful, because he he was involved. What was it, convicts versus Catholic game up there? I don't know.
Yes.
Better leave him off the sideline. But he's making his presence known around there.
He is.
Hey, we'll take a timeout right here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Indiana. We'll talk about what they've got to do to win this football game and wrap up today's show. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, and I'm here with Blount County Sports Hall of Famer Donnie Moore and Zach Grandel, and we're talking championship football, Miami and Indiana. I've got some things written down here what Indiana needs to do, but I'll get your take a little bit. Start with you, Zach. What do they need to do? What's Indiana need to do to win this game?
Keep doing what they're doing. I mean,
Keep on trucking.
they're executing well. They're coached well. I mean, I don't see too many weaknesses with the team.
Yeah, that's a tough thing about Indiana. It's hard to, if you're the opposing team and going, well, their defense is not real strong, we'll go right at them, or their secondary is not very strong, we'll go right at them, or, their offense, we can do this against. Man, it's hard to find anything.
It is very hard.
They step up. They complement each other well. The offense complements the defense. I don't know.
Special teams are good. Just what it takes to win football games.
Yep.
You're consistently strong from team to team, and all aspects of the game.
Yep.
And got a good coach too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a Alabama team, like a Nick Saban team from a couple years ago. These guys are just incredible.
Yeah, and their coach, he seems to always have them. He's got them ready. He always has them. Seems to me like Zanetti's always got them in the right frame of mind. He's saying the right things to them, and there's a lot of discipline on that team and work ethic, and it's really neat to watch all that come together. And one of his favorite sayings is we're not interested in looking in the taillights. We're interested in the headlights.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing. We're not
thing.
interested in what we've already done.
Good
because
concept.
there's something else out there that we need to start looking to. So
yeah, I'm a believer.
We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see how it turns out. I think they got to get out of the gate fast, force Miami to come from behind, which we've mentioned. Pressure Carson Beck.
Right.
Tends to get a little careless under pressure. Mix up the offense, run and pass, which they've been successful in doing.
They have, yeah.
They can run the ball. A lot of people think Mendoza, he's a passer and so forth. Hey, they can run the football. They got some good backs. And, they block well. They need to protect Mendoza. They don't need Miami getting to him. And, he needs some time to throw the ball. The receivers need to have a big night. And you're saying, well, why wouldn't they? They've had big games all year long. They made big plays all year long.
Yeah.
Big plays in the Ohio State game. Huge play in the Penn State game right at the end to win that game. Limit Miami to field goals in the red zone. Don't give them scores. Don't give them big plays on defense. And that's been a little problem with Indiana this year, and even in the last game against Oregon, right down the stretch, they gave a few big plays up.
Yeah, they did.
So they have a tendency to give up a big play on the defense. They need to limit those. Third down conversions. This has been big for them. They've been able to convert on third down.
Yes, they have.
You go back to that. That Ohio State game, remember they were down there on their own goal line with third, and it looked like they were going to have to punt the ball back to Ohio State in the championship game. What'd they do? They dropped back and threw a 40-yard pass.
Yeah.
And really put the game away.
Yeah.
So third down conversions. Limit penalties, and they've done a really good job. That's Indiana team. They just don't make very many penalties, and I think that has a lot to do with the coach. He's a no-nonsense guy. He doesn't like mistakes, doesn't like penalties, and he likes to follow the game plan and so forth. They're very disciplined, and of course, no turnovers. Don't give them any short fields and that type of thing, and take advantage of short fields. And that's what they did against Oregon. They forced them in turnovers, and they got the short field.
Yes, they did.
Zach, two unlikely teams in the championship game. If we're sitting here and it's September or October, we're not talking about Indiana and Miami being in the championship game, are we? Huh? Yeah.
So coming from JMU, Signetti inherited a great team at JMU, and I was at college game day when I was on campus, and it was right before Signetti announced he was leaving, and my friend's a professor there, and we were kind of talking. It's like, well, game day's not going to be in Indiana. We thought, Signetti's taking a huge risk in leaving, and look what he's done with that program. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's incredible. Definitely not Indiana. Maybe Miami.
Donnie, we wouldn't have had these two teams back in the fall.
I wouldn't have, no.
We would have probably had an SEC team in there, probably Georgia. Probably Georgia.
Yeah,
We'd have
for
Georgia
sure.
in there,
I
probably,
would think so.
and then probably Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. They're the
probably
defending
Ohio
champs,
State.
Yep.
I think there would be some.
They're not there.
Oregon
we would have had
maybe.
some talk about Indiana because
Yeah.
they were in the playoffs last year.
Yep.
But we probably wouldn't have had them in there. But the transfer portal has definitely helped both of these teams
Immensely.
I don't think you could say if the transfer portal wasn't out there that Indiana would be there. If they just had to recruit like they did in the past.
And look what he's
this
done.
is-
Look what Signetti's done with 3-star athletes. I mean,
Yeah,
some of these guys
yeah.
are.
Yeah, Indiana. A lot of people don't understand. They're made up pretty much of 3-star players. He goes after players that play well in each of the positions that he needs them to play in, and he doesn't need a 5-star there. He just needs somebody that's going to fit into his program.
Yep.
And he's been able to do that, and
That's right.
he's been able to do it with a lot of success. And a lot of these universities say, "Well, I'm going after this 5-star guy and this 5-star guy," and a lot of times they're kind of all about themselves and not about the team. Where a 3-star guy, he can be a little bit more about the team, so to speak.
Yep.
But Indiana, what'd they do to get here? Well, coaching. We've talked about the 3-star players, Fernando Mendoza.
They did it all.
What
That's
a deal!
What, they
What a
did.
deal he's done, and the transfer portal to get the other key players, the NIL money. You had John Mellencamp up there. You got Mark Cuban, that was helping them out. That didn't help. That didn't hurt any. And then, of course, winning last year and making the playoffs kind of set the stage for
It
this
did,
year.
yes.
They laid the groundwork last year.
They sure
They
did.
got everybody's attention through the deal last year, and then they just with Mendoza coming in there and. And you talk about the transfer portal, and you talk about, well, I'd like to have a quarterback that's there more than 1 year, and then you look at these guys, Beck, and you look at Mendoza, and you go, well, 1 year could get you there if you got all the other ingredients, right?
Yep. And
Best thing about Mendoza to me is that he's not a hot dog. He's well spoken. He's calm. He communicates really well with everybody.
Yeah. I thought Mendoza was a real. It was really refreshing to see someone like him, not to take anything away from other people that have won the Heisman.
Of course not.
But I thought he was just a great choice for the
I did
Heisman
too.
Trophy.
I did
now,
too.
whether he goes on in the pros and has a great career, that's to be seen.
Yeah.
But I think if you're picking a Heisman Trophy winner, and you're basing it on maybe a little bit more than just football.
Yeah.
Got to be a great football player.
Has to be.
But you'd like
Yeah.
for him to be a solid individual, too.
Sure.
I think you can say that about Fernando Mendoza.
I agree. I think he was a great choice. Now Diego Pavia didn't think he was
that's
a great
what I was
choice.
going to say. I was going to go exactly there. Look at that. Look at that.
But, we all thought we thought Diego Pavia, or at least the Vandy people, thought Diego Pavia hung the moon.
And so did he.
And so
He thought
did
he
he.
did.
Well,
exactly.
Indiana's been a great story.
Yeah, it has.
And Miami's been a great story. I don't take anything away from Miami. They've been a great story,
They
too.
have.
They got left out of the playoffs last year, and they thought they should have been in the playoffs.
Yep.
And they came back this year, and they played in the ACC. And, the rap with them was, well, the ACC's not very strong. You really didn't play anybody outside of Notre Dame.
Yep.
And, you're probably not going to do real well. You lost a couple of teams there that are just so-so teams.
Yep. I mean,
And you got to hand it to them too. They've done well getting to where they've gotten here. Don't you think, Zach?
They were on the bubble to get into the playoffs. I mean, they have played well, but Notre Dame, BYU. There's other teams that were in the conversation there at the end, and look how far they've come.
Yeah, and when they lost to the two teams, they were midway through the season. I think a lot of people wrote them off, and they were just sort of under the radar.
Yep.
And then they found themselves, and got it all together. So you got two good stories right there is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Going into
Yeah.
the game.
Sure.
And I think Indiana will probably be, with a lot of people, the sentimental favorite because they haven't won a national championship. They've never been there before. They've been a hard luck team, pretty much all through the years.
Yep.
And listen, they may or may never ever have another chance to do this. You just never know.
That's right. You don't.
I mean, in the next 2 or 3 years, you look back and say, "Gosh, man, look what we had right there." But it's hard to get here. Listen,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
You
Yep,
look
it
at these
is.
two teams. It's not easy to get here. It's a once in a lifetime deal.
Yeah.
And you gotta think, hey, you gotta take advantage of this because you may never,
Yeah.
you may never get back. You look at Notre Dame. They won the national championship in '88. 1988 was the last time they won. They've played in a couple of championship games, but they've never won one since. In Tennessee, 1998, and it's been a long dry spell, and a long dry spell for them before 1998. You got to go back from a national standpoint, 1951. Of course, they've given some national championships to Tennessee and other schools, from different outlets. But main outlet, got to go back to 1951.
Right.
And so that's a long dry spells too. But
Sure is. But that just goes to reinforce what you said. It's not easy to win a national championship.
no, it's not, and you may never get back there again. Never get another opportunity. So
I have a question. Quick question. Since we're not on the radio, can we keep going?
No, you can.
All right, so quick question. We talked about it a little bit before the show. Signetti wins the national championship. If he goes to the NFL, to a team that has a high draft pick, and then drafts his quarterback from Indiana, would you take, if you were Curt Signetti, would you do that? Would you jump to the pro? If he wins the national championship, if he doesn't win the national championship, still something left to prove in the college world. But if he wins the national championship,
I think if Curt Signetti was in his 40s or maybe his early 50s, might be looking at that. But he's 60 some. He's 62.
Is he? Okay.
I think he's 62 or 63 years old.
He may not
I think
be ready to take on that responsibility.
I think with the fact we got the transfer portal, he's got everything going, at Indiana now. I think he's happy up there. He's satisfied. I think that he likes what he's doing. I think where he is where he wants to be right now.
you don't think he takes the Raiders' job and drafts his quarterback?
I don't think so. I'd be really surprised. His expertise doesn't really. It's really not fit for the pros. He's been in the college game. He's worked his way all the way up. Hey, and we're talking about a guy that's only 2 years into major, D4 football.
Yep.
I mean, we're only talking about a guy that's been there 2 years, and look what he's done. In there's 2 years. Of course, he can coach just about anywhere he wants to coach right now. But I think that
was his dad a pro coach? His dad coached somewhere.
I'm not sure. I know his dad coached football and was an outstanding coach.
Yeah, he was a great coach.
Yeah. But Indiana was won 5 national championships in basketball, and the 76 team that we've talked about in basketball, Bob Knight's team, went undefeated. I think they were 31-0 or something like that. But in football, they've never been in this spot, to say the least, forever.
Breaking new ground all the time.
I'm telling you. And Miami, this is just a time that a lot of people are talking about. Is Miami back? Are they back? It's not all new. It's just we're back to the glory days of where we once were.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's a little bit different situation.
It is. You're exactly right.
Who's going to be on Indiana's sidelines? I mean, Miami's got all these pro players. Who would be on Indiana's sidelines? Bobby Knight throwing a chair out on the field.
He's not there. How about bringing Bob Knight's chair down there?
Throw a chair out on the field.
Mark Cuban, he's going to be down there for sure. And the radio announcer for Indiana, has called all those games all through the years. And of course, this is new territory for him.
Sure is.
And you're thinking, gosh, boy, he's getting on up there. If he was to win a national championship, would he say, "Well, I've seen it all now"?
Yeah, that's it. That's it for my career.
I'm going to bow out. I'm going to bow out.
Yep.
Calling
right into
Indiana
the
football, but can you imagine calling some of their football games over the years? And you look out there, and there's, I don't know, 2,000 people sitting out there. In their
Yeah, Bob
stadium,
Euchre
or
up there pouring yourself a
2,500
drink.
people sitting out there with absolutely no interest whatsoever.
Yep.
Kind of a crazy thing. And now people are talking about, football being the main sport, in Indiana and Indiana University. And, well, right now it is, because if you're playing for a national championship,
Oh,
it's got to
yeah,
be the main
definitely.
focus. But high school football, high school basketball in Indiana was big for years and years and years. And then Peyton went to the Colts.
Yep.
Right.
He went to play up there with the Colts, and then Peyton changed the whole philosophy of high school football
He sure
in
did.
Indiana, where it's come up a notch.
Yep.
I know it hasn't reached I don't think the enthusiasm of basketball in Indiana or replaced it, but I think it's gotten much better.
Yep.
And so I think you're seeing the same thing with football right now. Donnie, are we calling it a day?
All right, it's time.
Time to call it a day,
Sure
guys.
is.
Zach, thanks for filling
Yeah.
in here today,
Yeah,
and
thanks for
Donnie,
having
we
me.
kind of just shot the bull today.
We did.
It's been a long time since the GoTeez Sports page has just come on and shot the bull, but I guess it was kind of different. And
We did all
and
right,
We had a lot
though.
of fun. I appreciate you guys coming in, and hopefully Marcus will be back, and Tony and Caleb will be back full blast here.
Be back soon,
next
we
week.
hope.
Hope all of you have a great week. And
Thank you, Mike.
Hey,
Go Vols,
You
go
too.
blow the
Vols.
whistle, Donnie.
That's it.
Hey, that'll do it for today's edition of the GoTeez Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael back at Loud Media, our host of Bluetick Tavern, and all our sponsors. Until next Saturday, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports.
And that's the final whistle. Join us again next Saturday for the GoTeez Sports Page. The best in local sports since 1978.